G'day guys, so today we're going to be talking about the laying down hamstring curl and how to go about executing this lift so that you feel nothing but your hamstrings and that there's no transfer of pain up into your lower back. So what do we know about the hamstrings? One, it goes over two joints. So we know that it originates up at the top part of our hip and inserts down to the bottom part of our lower limb of our leg. So what does that tell us? Well, we know that if a muscle goes over two joints, that we need to stabilize one in order for the other to really get the most out of it. So when it comes to our laying hamstring curl, we're concentrating on knee flexion. Now why that's important is because it's this movement here. That is all we are trying to worry about. So we need to make sure that knowing that our hamstrings come from down here and all the way up into our hip, we need to shore up our hips in order to make sure that we get the most out of the contraction through our hamstrings. Now there's another muscle at play when we do this exercise, and that is our calf muscles, or gastroid, that comes up and inserts into our knee. Now when we do this exercise, what we are wanting to do is we actually want to plantar flex, which simply means to place our foot down like so. This is dorsiflex, where you bring it right up, poor ankle mobility, and plantar flex all the way down. So the two cues that we're going to use today are push your hips into the bench to stabilize their hips, and also plantar flex, or point your toe. And this will give you the best contraction you possibly can have out of the hamstring curl. So let's lock in. Now first things first, we want the pad to sit across the lowest point of our femur, not our femur, tibia and fibula, because when it rolls up, it'll roll up into here. What we know about biomechanics, the longer the lever, the stronger you are. So let's put it here, and we're going to get more out of those hamstrings. Very poorly way to describe it. Anyway, so we're starting here. We want to plantar flex, so the pad will sit roughly just about there. So your heel will come and wrap around the pad, and that is how you know you're going to be able to keep it on. So when you're falling in, what we are looking to do is we're going to plantar flex first to create our point in which that we know where we're going to have the pad rest, and now we're going to drive our hips into the bench. Now how we do that is by simply engaging our glutes, pushing into the bench. There are a couple alternatives here. If you're first starting out, I strongly suggest you start like this, drive your hips into the bench, and then create that knee flexion. If you're a little bit more seasoned campaigner, then you can lay flat, but notice how that as soon as I lay flat, we move into hip flexion. So we want to make sure that we're still driving forward. So this keeps us as a nice neutral back and neutral spine. If we bend over here, then we're going to have to make sure that we're subconsciously keeping those glutes on. So again, driving our hips in, our plantar flexion is occurring, and we are curling to our backside. We're going to slow and control the negative and contract. It is no different to a bicep curl when it comes to our line of pull. So we don't want our ankles out nice and wide, we don't want them in nice and close. We want to make sure that our legs are in line with our hips. And that there, guys, is how you go about doing your hamstring curls.